Hello good people, and welcome back to another math video. This time we'll be talking about an introduction to percents. Let's get started. The first thing to really think about with percents is actually that word, percent. So the first part of the word, per, so per means of or out of, and cent is a root for 100, like the word century is 100 years. So the word percent literally means out of 100. So that's what we always have to keep in mind when we're talking about percents. So here's a silly little graphic of a test, and the person has 100% written on top of their test with a gold star drawn around it. If you got 100% on the test, then we know that you got them all correct. So that is a big clue as to what 100% means. What 100% means is one whole. So if you got a 100% on the test, you got one whole test correct. Any percent that's less than 100, like 88% or 35%, this means that we're talking about less than the whole thing. So if you got an 88 on a test, 88%, you got less than everything correct. If you got a 35% on a test, you got less than everything correct. Can a percent be more than 100? It is possible to have a percent be more than 100. We definitely don't see this as often, but it's possible. So here's the number 125%. If I was talking about pizza and I say that Frank ate 125% of the pizza, that would mean that Frank ate all of the pizza that I had intended, and then he went and found another 25% of a pizza and he ate that too. So Frank ate 125% of the pizza. I was only intending for people to eat this one, and he ate the whole thing, and then he went and ate more. So that's how we would end up with 125%. Sometimes it's helpful to visualize percents. So the box that I have here has 100 squares in it. I know they're not all exactly the same size, but let's just imagine that they were. If I wanted to show you that 10% of the box had been shaded in, then I would shade in this line right here, and now 10% of the box has been shaded in. What about 40%? Well, 40% would be that same 10 plus a bit more. Now 40% of the box has been shaded in. What about 70%? Well, now 70% of the box has been shaded in. Because percents are always out of 100, I can also talk about what percent of the box is not shaded in. So I shaded in 70% of the box. So what percent is not shaded in? Well, the percent not shaded in is right here. And that amount is exactly the distance from 70 up to 100. Well, how far is it from 70 to 100? It's 30. So that amount left over is 30%. Another spot we see percents is when we're shopping. So here's a shirt and it has a tag that says 50% off. So what this means is that if the normal price for the shirt is $10, then the 100% of that price would be $10. That's the whole thing. So in that situation, if the shirt was originally $10, then the $10 would equal 100%. But this is saying that 50% is coming off of that. So 50% is going to come off the cost of that shirt. Well, 50% of 10, that's half. So that means that I'm taking off half of the cost of the shirt. So instead of being $10, I could remove half of that cost, and now the shirt is only $5 because it was 50% off. We can also relate percents to other numbers. So here's an example. I'm going to talk about a cat's day, and the cat gets the same 24 hours as the rest of us. But maybe the cat spends 12 hours sleeping. Well, if 24 is the whole day, then the 24 is going to be equal to 100% of the day. 12 is half of the day. So then 12 would be equal to 50% of the day. 12 is half of 24. So that, if we know 24 is the whole thing, then the 12 has to be 50%. Then maybe I say that the cat spends, if the cat spends 6 hours eating, well, that doesn't make sense. Cats don't eat for that long. How about grooming? All right, so if the cat spends 6 hours grooming, then that is 6 is 1/4 of 24. So 1/4 of 100 would be 25%. So I could say that in this case, 6 hours would be equal to 25% of the cat's day. So again, 24, that was the whole thing. 12, that's half the day, so that would be 50%. And 6, that's 1/4 of the day, so that would be 25%. Okay, in the previous video, we learned about moving between fractions and decimals. There are some definite strategies that we can use to convert between those two. And now we're going to add percents into that. So the next video, coming right up, is going to be looking at how we move between percents and decimals, percents and fractions, because all of these numbers that I wrote down here are actually equal. 2% is equivalent to 2 out of 100 as a fraction, which is equivalent to the decimal 2/100ths. So that's where we're headed next. Okay, hope that helped. Have a good day. We'll see you soon.